The match doesn't start when you see that brawl appear on the screen. It starts here, in the draft. If you are trying to get Masters or even Pro rank and you're not a prodigy in the gameplay part, you're going to have to learn how to draft. Today, I'm breaking down the most common mistakes I see in draft and exactly how to fix them. Let's start with the first one. Number 1. No pierce or pets. One mistake I often see low-ranked players make is not keeping in mind single shots, multi-shots, and piercing brawlers. With the rise in the meta of brawlers that spawn pets like Tara, Charlie, and Mr. P, you just can't ignore this. When you draft more than one single-shot brawler and the enemy picks Charlie, her spiders tank your shots and give her lane control. Here are some examples of brawlers that can't deal with pets. Piper, Grom, Bonnie. Here are some examples of brawlers that deal well with pets. Jae-Young, Penny, Carl. Of course, pets aren't the only thing you need to think about. You also have to make sure your team has enough variety. Number 2. Role and brawler variety. When drafting, your team's brawlers should be as diverse as possible. The goal is to make it harder for the enemy to counter you. But if you draft 2 or more brawlers with similar traits or from the same class, they'll often share the same weaknesses. And that makes it much easier for opponents to destroy you in draft. For example, picking Piper, Brock, and Mandy gives you 3 long-range snipers. That lineup struggles against assassins like Lily or Kaze. Similarly, choosing Rosa and Jackie puts you at risk of being completely countered by Cordelius. Variety ensures your team covers more matchups and avoids overlapping weaknesses. Number 3. Team synergy. While role and brawler variety are important, we have to keep in mind brawler synergy. These are brawlers that work really well together and make some deadly combos. Some really strong brawler combos are Doug Janet, Doug Gray, Buster Gray, Buster Jean, Jae-Young Bonnie, and many others. Now, synergy is great, but even the best combo falls apart if it doesn't fit the map or mode you're playing. Number 4. Map, game mode, objectives. This might sound obvious, but it's really important, especially for newer players. When you pick a brawler, you need to make sure they actually fit the game mode, the map, and the objective. For example, if you try to play Angelo in Brawl Ball, you're cooked before the match even starts. Look at the map. Are there a lot of walls, grass, water? That gives you a good idea of what works. You also have to think about objectives. Let's say your team is missing someone who can actually score in Brawl Ball. In that case, brawlers like Bull or El Primo can sometimes be the right pick, since they can force their way in. Number 5. No damage or no health. Drafting too many low damage brawlers is a common mistake. If your team can't deal enough damage, you'll struggle to take down high HP tanks or contest objectives. For example, in Hot Zone, a team with Tick and Crow might not be able to handle a Frank or Hank, not being able to get time in the zone. But it's not just about damage, health matters too. If your whole team is full of squishy brawlers, you're going to get clapped by assassins or anyone who can come at you. The main thing is balance. You want enough damage to deal with tanks and enough health to survive against assassins or aggressive plays. Number 6. No mobility. Mobility is one of the most underrated parts of drafting. If your team is full of slow brawlers, you'll struggle to move around, dodge attacks, and pressure enemies when it matters. Having at least one brawler who can move quickly, dash, confirm kills, rotate, pressure enemies, and regain map control makes a huge difference. Some examples of brawlers with great mobility are Kaze and Carl. Mobility is really important, but you know what's even more important? Hypercharges. Number 7. Ignoring hypercharges. Hypercharges can completely change the course of a game. This is especially true in modes that last longer, like Gem Grab or Hot Zone. That's why having at least one strong hypercharge on your team is always a big advantage. Some hypercharges are game-breaking, like Draco, Bonnie, and Kit, while others, such as Chucks, Lolas, or Sprouts, barely make an impact and really need a rework. The key lesson is, always draft with hypercharges in mind. They're one of the main reasons the meta shifts so often, and ignoring them can cost you the match before it even starts. Number 8. Not checking bans. Bans and picks are two different parts of draft, but they work together. For example, if there's a strong brawler you'd like to pick but their hard counters are still available, that's a big no-no. Let me give you an example. If you want to pick Charlie but Jae Yong is open, that's a bad idea. On the other hand, let's say you want to play Gray in Knockout, and you notice that Mr. P and Charlie are both banned, which are two of his best counters. In that case, Gray becomes a much safer pick. You can also know what kind of comp could work based on the bans. Once you've looked at bans and picks, the next step is thinking about how the map itself can change during the match, especially with wall breakers. Number 9. Forgetting wall breakers. Some maps can completely change once walls or bushes are broken. Wall breakers are especially important against brawlers that rely on walls, like Shade, Rico, and Nita. Here are some examples of great wall breakers: Griff, Brock, and Bo. But even if you draft the perfect brawler, it's completely useless if you pick a brawler you can't play or run the wrong build. Number 10. Wrong brawler, wrong setup. Guys, if you want to practice a new brawler, ranked is not the place to do it. I've seen it too many times. Someone picks a brawler that works well in that situation, but they clearly can't play it. And sure, the only way to really learn a brawler is to play them, but if possible, don't do it in ranked. You can even swap picks with your teammates if needed. This is especially true for high-skill brawlers like Jae Yong or Kaize. If you don't know how to use them, you'll just end up throwing and making your teammates mad. Don't just use the same build every game. In draft, your setup can help you win the match. Some brawlers almost always run the same build, but gears are something you always need to think about. For example, on bushy maps, vision or speed gears can completely change the game, and mythic gears like Jeans, which extends his super range, can give you a huge advantage. Here are a few brawlers where your gadget and star power choice depends on the draft and the map: Jean, Bell, Squeak, and RT. Now, I have a bonus mistake for you guys: ignoring the meta. One of the biggest draft mistakes is pretending the meta doesn't exist. Every season, balance changes, change everything. New hypercharges drop, some brawlers get nerfed into the ground, and others get buffed or reworked, and suddenly become S tier. If you're still drafting outdated picks just because they used to be strong, you're putting your team at a huge disadvantage. The best players don't stick to the same comfort picks every season. They stay updated, follow balance changes, and adapt to what's strong right now. So yeah, those are some of the biggest draft mistakes I see people making. If you enjoy my videos, make sure to drop a like and subscribe. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you in the next one.